Let's say Bob and Sharon bought their home back in 1994 for $250,000, and now that house is worth $3 million. So Bob and Sharon are going to downsize, and they're going to purchase their next home for $1,250,000. Now, from the $3 million sale, in this example, they'll have the funds available because they have no mortgage on their home that they purchased in 1994. They'll have funds to purchase with cash $1,250,000 the next home. Where Prop 19 comes in is both Bob and Sharon are over the age of 55. They can do this as a married couple up to 6 times. 3 times if you're single, 6 times if you're married. Hello, Sam Spinella, your trusted real estate guy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming back. Before we jump on Prop 19, I wanted to mention Prop 13. Prop 13 is a very important part of Proposition 19. Proposition 13 here in California, and it's actually still an active proposition, which is when you purchase a home or you have real estate, Proposition 13 will cap your tax appreciation to no more than 2% per year. So when we talk about Proposition 19, the reason Proposition 19 is actually very beneficial in multiple ways is that it actually allows the person who sells the property to keep the Proposition 13, but also take the tax basis of Proposition 13 with them over to the next home up to 3 times. The benefit is a few different things. One is if you're 55 years or older, severely disabled, or a victim of a natural disaster such as a flood, fire, or earthquake, you can sell your home and you can take your tax basis with you to your next home. So it allows you to sell the current primary residence and buy a new one without having a new reassessed value to the next property. What this means, and if we put this into terms that we can understand and work with, something that's tangible, right? So let's say that you bought a home back in 1994 and you purchased it for $250,000. Your taxes are currently roughly around $5,000 per year, or $416 per month. This is your property tax of $416 a month. Still, even though when you purchased in 1994, your tax base was actually much lower. Now it has not gone any higher than $5,000 per year because of Proposition 13, a cap of 2% per year appreciation. Make sense? So when they initially purchased the home at $250,000, it was an annual tax of $3,125. 31 years later, the person's tax base, their annual tax for their property, is going to be $5,000. Currently, $460 per month. Initially, when they purchased, it was $260 a month for their monthly tax payment for their property tax. We're talking about property tax only. So the benefit of Prop 19 is just that. Before Prop 19, there were only certain counties that we could actually take our property tax basis with us to the new home. And not every county in California would allow it. We are specifically talking about California again here. Now, if we put this into a real life example, let's say Bob and Sharon bought their home back in 1994 for $250,000, and now that house is worth $3 million. They want to downsize the house they've been living in for the past 31 years. Is too big for them, has multiple staircases, and it's just become too much. So Bob and Sharon are going to downsize, and they're going to purchase their next home for $1,250,000. Now, from the $3 million sale, they will have the funds available. In this example, they'll have the funds available because they have no mortgage on their home that they purchased in 1994. Where Prop 19 comes in is both Bob and Sharon are over the age of 55. They can do this as a married couple up to 6 times. 3 times if you're single, 6 times if you're married. Currently, they're paying $416 per month. So instead of at a $1,250,000 purchase price, if they didn't have Prop 19 available, their new monthly tax payment will be $1,302 per month for a $15,625 annual payment. So it's a big savings for them, because once you get to the point that you are downsizing, many times you'll be on a fixed income, and $800 is a big hit to your monthly income. So that's where Prop 19 comes in. And Bob and Sharon can do this 5 more times as a married couple. If it was just Bob or Sharon, they could do it 3 times in total for 2 more times after they downsize to their $1.25 million bungalow. Here's one thing to keep in mind, because there are multiple types of taxes that we have. We are specifically talking about property tax. We're not talking about capital gains. So before you get super excited about Prop 19, capital gains is one thing that's not going to help offset anything with Prop 19. Prop 19 is strictly for property taxes. Property gains, if we walk through that quickly, is going to look like this. Based on the $3 million sale of the home, and assuming that they have done $300,000 of improvements with the $250,000 purchase price, Bob and Sharon would have a taxable long-term capital gain, for this example, of $1,700,000. Before you get too excited, they're not paying taxes of $1,700,000. They're paying the taxes on the capital gains of $1,700,000. Let's talk about that if you have any questions. The taxes they would actually have to pay would be $630,000. So they pay $630,000 in taxes on the $3 million sale, but their property tax would not go up above the tax basis, which is currently $416. Prop 13 stays in effect, where it still does not go more than 2% appreciation per year. So ultimately, Bob and Sharon are going to be saved on their property taxes, their monthly payments for property taxes, or annual, semi-annual payments when property taxes are due. They will, however, have to pay capital gains. Now, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an attorney, and I would tell you, just like I would tell any of my clients, talk to a CPA, talk to an attorney for specifically your property and your scenario. If you need a CPA or need an attorney, let me know. I'm happy to refer one to you. But ultimately, these folks, Bob and Sharon, would have to pay $630,000 in taxes, capital gains. However, they would be able to walk away with, in this scenario, $2,370,000. And after they purchase their next home, they would have still over $1 million to put into a retirement account with a financial advisor, so that they can live on that along with their other retirement funds. So overall, Prop 19 is very useful, and Prop 13 is a fantastic thing that we have in California. Not everybody has this. Our taxes are high, yes, not disputing that, and I don't like it. But having Prop 13 is extremely helpful. Prop 19 is also very useful. There are some holes, so to speak, in Prop 19 that do affect Prop 13, and we'll get into that in the next video. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Please feel free to reach out anytime. I'm always here and happy to help. Talk to you soon.